The Inner Awakening Project. Awakening.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into an ancient tradition that flat out refuses to end where standard histories usually do. I mean, even after thousands of years of deep philosophy, devotion, temples, and sacred texts, the story of Hindu thought just doesn't neatly resolve into a single timeline. Once the dust of chronology settles, what we're left with is something wonderfully, almost beautifully complex. So let's just tackle the elephant in the room right away. What exactly is Hinduism? When you try to pin it down, you quickly realize that modern language actually struggles to contain it. Is it a religion, a philosophy, a civilization, a whole way of life? Honestly, it's something infinitely stranger and way more expansive than any of those. If you're looking for one neat, definitive label, you're simply not going to find it. Section 1. The Religion of Inquiry. Surviving Contradiction. Think about this for a second. Unlike belief systems built around one singular, unshakable truth, Hindu civilization managed to pull off something absolutely incredible. It survived massive, fundamental disagreement without collapsing. On one hand, you've got the Advaita philosophy arguing that all existence is just one indivisible consciousness, and any sense of separation is literally just an illusion. But then on the other hand, you have totally distinct traditions insisting that the human soul and God remain eternally separate. We're talking about entire schools of thought that spent centuries fiercely debating the very fabric of reality itself. And those massive philosophical debates, they didn't just stay in the clouds. They trickled down into daily spiritual practice, creating this breathtaking spectrum of thought. There was no single mandated path. Some folks sought liberation through intense meditation, others through pure love, strict discipline, or selfless service. One person could be worshiping Shiva with absolute complete devotion, and right next door, literally right next door, someone else could be actively questioning whether gods even existed at all. So what it all really boils down to is this. The search itself became sacred. Hinduism didn't demand absolute certainty from everyone. Instead, it revered the inquiry. The questions mattered just as much as the answers. The actual act of seeking, debating, and wondering was considered a holy endeavor in its own right. Moving on to Section 2, Ancient Texts, Modern Science, Cosmic Scales. Okay, this right here, this is where the source material gets truly mind-bending. Thousands of years ago, ancient Hindu texts were already conceptualizing cyclical existence. We're talking about the idea of endless creation and destruction over unimaginably vast spans of time. Just for context, they calculated a kalpa, which is a single day of Brahma, at roughly 4.32 billion years. Astoundingly, to put that into perspective, that is almost exactly the estimated age of the Earth as revealed by modern astronomy today. The conceptual leap these ancient thinkers made to grasp the true scale of the cosmos, long before telescopes were even a thing, is absolutely staggering. Now, right off the bat, we gotta carefully remember that mythology is not science, and science is definitely not mythology. But still, the parallels here are undeniable. Civilizations separated by millennia somehow arrived at the exact same themes: cyclical time, the illusion of a fixed identity, and a profoundly interconnected existence. It's like a giant puzzle, proving the human mind has always been capable of reaching into the absolute deepest mysteries of the universe. And that vast cosmic scale brings us right back down to you and me. Like, are we just isolated individuals, or are we fragments of something immeasurably larger? Is reality fundamentally material, or is there something much deeper going on? Hindu thought never forced one universal answer to these haunting questions. It offered possibilities. And that intellectual vastness, that total openness to the unknown, is likely why it has endured for so incredibly long. All right, Section 3, Navigating the Modern Age, Survival and Struggle. Bringing this ancient wisdom back down to earth for a minute, globalization has kind of transformed everything, right? The very identity of Hinduism shifted as practices moved out of isolated geography and into massive, bustling cities, onto our digital screens, and across continents. Yoga became this massive worldwide phenomenon, though, let's be honest, often disconnected from its profound philosophical roots, while meditation stepped right out of the ashram and directly into Western medicine. Suddenly, the tradition was just everywhere. But look, with a massive global reach comes some really intense internal friction. Objectively speaking, the exact same tradition capable of producing profound spiritual philosophy is currently facing some very difficult internal debates. Sacred symbols are often commercialized. Political movements are powerfully reshaping religious identity. And there are vital, really challenging conversations happening right now around social hierarchy, caste, equality, and historical injustice. These are the complex, real-world growing pains of an ancient system trying to navigate a modern world. So we're looking at a reality of dualities here. Like every ancient civilization alive today, Hinduism carries a really complex mix of beauty and tension. On one side of the coin, you have the continuity of timeless wisdom offering genuine peace to millions globally. On the flip side, you have the conflict of unresolved contradictions demanding to be confronted. The communities living this tradition today are actively walking a massive tightrope, constantly deciding what to keep, what needs to reform, and how to survive. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, the universal search, the illusion of certainty. Because let's be real, reality is way messier than some neat little historical start date. We really have to challenge the modern assumption that there's just one clear beginning hidden beneath all the chaos of history. Hinduism didn't just pop up in a single boardroom meeting. It emerged gradually. It came from forgotten rituals around a midnight fire, from early terrified humans watching massive thunderstorms roll in, from mothers grieving the dead, from philosophers meditating deep in the forests, and from ancient cities literally swallowed by changing rivers. It is the raw compilation of thousands of years of humanity experiencing suffering, death, and the terrifying, beautiful mystery of just being alive. As we wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with a thought that honestly should just hang in the air for a bit. If one of humanity's absolute oldest spiritual traditions cannot truly be traced back to a single beginning, well, perhaps the real mystery isn't how Hinduism started. What if human beings have simply been searching for the exact same forgotten truth since the very dawn of consciousness itself, and we've all just been calling it different names throughout history? Think about that for a second. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep questioning.